Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is William Sutama with assistant code www. At this moment, we will start discussions about function. We hope that after you watching this video, you will understand to use functions in C language. You will understand the structures of functions in C language, can distinguish types of functions parameters in C language, and of course can make programs using functions in C language. So let's start from the first question. What is functions? Functions are very useful subprograms in programming, especially for large programs. For example, let's say we want to enter formula for the area of a rectangular prism. So we only need to write the prism's area formula once in the functions without having to write it repeatedly in the main program. When we want to start learning about functions, there will be four important terms used frequently in functions. First is local variables, second is global variables, third is actual parameters, and the last is formal parameters. Did you know, guys, these functions is divided into two kinds. The first is functions and the second one is void functions or procedure. So let's talk about functions. A function is a code snippet intended to perform a specific task. The task requires input information called parameters, and usually a function will return a value. Functions can be created before or after writing the main program. If it's created after writing the main program, we must write a function's prototype at the top of the program. This is the examples of writing functions after the main program, so that we can see the functions is right after the main program. If you want to write functions like this, you must write the function's prototype. The purpose is as abstract so that the functions can be recognized by the entire program. This one, the examples of writing functions before the main program, that we can see the functions is right before the main program. Well, that's all for me. Thank you for your attention, and for next discussions, there will be continue with my friends Anastia.
Before we continue the discussion, please introduce myself. My name is Anastia Azarkaan with assistant code ARK. Let's get into the void function or procedure. What is a void function? A void function is function that does not return a value or has not returned value. As in the previous example program where the program has the return C. Well, if the value function has no return value. Now, the void function is also used in some cases as 1. Display information on the screen so that it can be read by user. 2. Function with reference parameter, namely by sending the memory address of a variable into the parameter. Then there is such a thing as a parameter. What is parameter? Parameter is data that is entered into a function which will then be used in the process that are inside the function. So, there are several ways to pass parameter in C language. 1. Pass by value, meaning that the data that is passed is only the value of the variable and then stored in the local variable in the function. In other words, this method uses two different variables, so the variable in the actual parameter cannot be changed in the function. 2. Is passed by reference, meaning that the data passed is the memory address of the variable. In other words, this method uses the same variable, so change the value of the variable in the function can change the value of the original variable. Now, the following is an example of the difference between the program parameter passed by value and passed by reference. So, in the above program, in passed by reference, use ampersand in the exchange ampersand A ampersand B, while in the passed by value, use exchange N and B. For passed by value, variable values are not interchanged because the variable in the actual parameter and the variable in the function are two different variables. The way to make the parameter pass by reference is to add an asterisk. Meanwhile, the way to call the function is to add an ampersand in front of the reference variable. So, the difference, the for pass by value does not add asterisk and ampersand, while pass by reference adds asterisk and ampersand. Then, for pass by reference, the variable values are be swapped, while pass by value variable values are not swapped. Okay, then there's something called pointer. What is pointer? Pointer is a feature in the C that is used to access and manipulate the memory address of a variable. Okay, the pointer has two operators, namely, one is difference operator to give the value of a variable. Two is a reference operator to give the memory address of a variable. Well, that's all for discussion about this module. For explanation of the coding, my friend will convert it.
Hello everybody, my name is Ferry Chandra, but you can call me with my assistant code Faye. Today I'm going to tell you about the syntaxes and everything inside this program and about the idea how this works. So first of all, I'm going to break everything down for you. This line of code here is called as a header. What is a header? Header is the line of codes that you use to tell the program about the library that you are going to use. In this case, we are going to use the stdio.h. And then this is the function prototype. We are going to talk about that later. And then after that, we have the global variable, which is a variable that is very universal, that we can use it at every single function after its declaration. Like in this main function, we can use the variable x and y, and even in this add function, we can use the x and y. But in this add function, we have this integer c. What is it? It is a local variable. So a local variable works a little bit different from the global variable. The local variable works only for the specific function where it is declared. If you use the variable of c in the main function, it is not going to work because the program doesn't know about the declaration of the variable of c. So that is it. And this part is called as actual parameter. So what is an actual parameter? The parameter is actually the value and the data type that we are going to pass to the function in order for it to work. So we pass the value of a, value in the variable of a, and value in the variable of b to the function. So and this is the recall for the function. So we have this prototype, right? The function prototype. So I want you to know the idea about how a program really works. So the program really works is by running from line to line. It's like running from the first line to the second to the third, and running simultaneously from line to line. So the idea about this function prototype is actually like you introduce the function of add to the program. Like the program really like, okay, I know this function known as add, and I'm going to pass it the value with the data type of integer and integer, and that's it. Once we call the function here with the add x, y, variable x will pass to this a, and the variable of and the value of y will be passed to this b. Will be passed as b in this function, and it's going to run this whole formula, and after that it's going to return the value in the c, like a plus b, and it's going to be c, and c will be returned to over here. So the number or the result will be shown that way over here. So let's just run this right away. If we use 5 and 7 as our numbers, it's going to give us the result of 12, like plus 5 to a and 7 to b. 5 plus 7 equals to 12, and that's how it works. And what if we make the function before main function? So it works like this. The add function is declared before the main function, and the program will write, okay, I recognize the whole function of add, and once it is called here, the program has already known about this function add. And if we run this right away with the 5 and 7, it's going to give us the same result. It works like that. The program line runs from line to line, first, second, third, and etc. etc. And it's going to work. If it is recalled, it is going to be running this whole program here. So what if a function, but it doesn't have any return value like this? See, as you can see here, we don't have any return down here. No, we don't. So what is it? It is actually called as a procedure. What is a procedure? A procedure is like a function but with no return value. And as we can see here, this program will tell us the number that we enter here. Is it positive, negative, or is it 0? So we run this, like I'm going to give it 5, is going to give us positive. And if we go to 5, 7, if we give it negative 5, sorry, it's going to tell us that it's a negative number. If we give it 0, it's going to tell us it's 0. So we pass the value of x to the integer a here, right? And it's going to check the condition about the a, the value in a. I'm going to print is right away. Print it right away. And that is how it works. It doesn't return any value, so it cannot be stored, but it will give us something as a result, or just run the whole program, run the whole function in it. And then next, we are going to talk about the pass by value. We are going to compare it with pass by reference. So the idea of this program here is we are going to swap the value in the variable of a and b. So we declare a as 27 and we give the value of b as 7. We're going to pass the value of a and b to the function of change. See, everything is normal like we normally do. And what if we run it? Wait, a is still 27 and b is still 7. Isn't it a little odd? So how do we solve this? We can solve this by using the pass by reference. So by using this asterisk here after the data type here, and between the data type and the variable, and using the ampersand here, we are going to tell the program like, hey, I'm going to give you a reference to this variable's memory, okay, and please do something with it. So it's like you have this a, the reference to the address of a in the memory, and b here, and the program going to swap everything inside of it, like in the value here, right? The program going to swap it right away. So if we run this, we declare a as 27 and b as 7 as before, and if we run this, we're going to have the result of a as 7 and b as 27. It is going to replace and exchange everything inside of that block of memory. And that's it from me. Thank you for your attention.